Hello, and welcome to ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Jacola Patera, reporting from London, England. We will be bringing you the latest news from around the United Kingdom and Europe. And we have live reporters on standby, ready to give their reports. In today's lineup, we have live reporters reporting on the UK government unveiling a fresh £30 billion package to save jobs. This is a live report, will be done by Love and Season. Next, we have the National Health Service, the NHS, will celebrate its birthday. Live report given to us by Ashley Espiritu. Then to France, where we have a report on the new transport rules for Marseille, and in Switzerland, an online mental and physical health awareness seminar, which was held in Switzerland, France, Monaco and Belgium, reported by Christine Benedicto. In EBC Milan, Italy, we have a report on the Italian pension reforms due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a live report given to us by April Paulino. And in our sports update, the Formula One season has started with some controversy. And finally, before we leave you, we will go always to our view from a window, which gives you a beautiful view from one of our wonderful European cities. Now to the UK headlines. British Culture Secretary announces the reopening of gyms and other services. British Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden announces that gyms, spas, leisure centres and other services will be allowed to reopen in the coming days and weeks, but warns that these measures are conditional and reversible as Britain continues to emerge from its coronavirus lockdown.
As we've made huge progress against this disease, we've gradually seen the things we love return. And today, I'm very pleased to announce that we can go a little bit further. As of this weekend, our artists, musicians and dancers can start performing live outside to outdoor audiences. We'll also have the resumption of recreational sport, followed later by the reopening of our gyms, swimming pools and leisure centres. Now, having allowed hairdressers to reopen, beauticians, tattooists, spas, tanning salons and other close contact services can now do the same, I'm pleased to say, from Monday. Of course, that will be subject to some restrictions on particularly high-risk services. And from Saturday the 25th, people will no longer have to work out in their park or on their living room floor. They'll be able to get back into their gyms, their indoor swimming pools, their leisure centres, and jump on that spin bike or treadmill for the first time in months. Now, all of these measures we are taking are conditional and they are reversible. And we will not hesitate to impose lockdowns where there are local spikes, as we saw in Leicester where things remained closed, and of course in any other place when that is necessary. But there is with one. At the beginning, we all stayed at home to protect the NHS and save lives. Now the British public has a new part to play. It's time to eat out to help out, to enjoy the arts to help out, and to work out to help out. It's over to all.
In other news, the Brexit disruption is inevitable, even with deal, the EU warns. The EU last Thursday is planning emergency measures to preserve access to some of Britain's financial services after the Brexit transition period, as it warned of inevitable disruptions, even if a deal is agreed with London. British and EU negotiators are making slow progress in working towards an agreement on future relations after the current Brexit transition period ends on December 31. This current weeks of discussion confirms that significant differences remain between the EU and the UK. We will continue working with patience, respect and determination, the EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier tweeted after days of talks in London. The EU did not specify how long the measures would last, but said it would allow European firms more time to handle the key services currently executed by the London Stock Exchange and other clearing houses. London is the global capital of a complex but vital financial instrument called derivatives. Traders buy these to insure themselves against sudden interest or currency exchange rate swings. The Commission statement also warned that even if Brussels reaches an agreement on the most ambitious future partnership, disruptions from January 1 is inevitable. There will be far-reaching and automatic changes and consequences for citizens, consumers, businesses, public administrations, investors, students and researchers, the statement said, urging EU governments to prepare. The choices made by the United Kingdom's government on the future relationship and on extending the transition period that these inevitable disruptions will occur as of January 1, 2021. The statement warns businesses that new customs checks will mean longer delivery times in supply chains and more red tape. British travellers to the continent will be subject to thorough checks at borders and will no longer be able to use EU passport holder lanes at airports. Now for the latest headlines in Europe. Chancellor Angela Merkel travels abroad for the first time since the outbreak of the coronavirus in Germany. Last Wednesday, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel traveled to Brussels, Belgium, as Germany, by rotation, is assigned the presidency of the Council of the European Union. The Chancellor addressed various topics in front of the EU Parliament, like the significance of fundamental rights within the European Union, and emphasized that unity and solidarity has to exist between all EU countries in face of the economic, health-related and social consequences caused by the current pandemic. Also in Germany, masks are still made mandatory, following the debate and discussion between the different German states regarding the wearing of masks. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel declared that masks remain mandatory in the country, especially in small, compact locations where the minimum distance regulation is difficult to maintain. Particularly subways, trains or buses are sites where wearing masks is crucial and indispensable. Health Minister Jens Spahn alerts that if masks do not remain mandatory, new infections can increase. And we go to France now, as France is to hold the Bastille Day flypast to thank Army for its COVID support. This year's Paris annual Bastille Day parade is set to honor Army personnel who joined the fight against COVID-19, explains Commander General Laurent Lebert. A German Air Force, A400M, and the Royal Air Force Typhoons will also join the parade as a tribute to General de Gaulle. It's time for a break now, so please come back for more E&I UK and Europe edition.
All or nothing na ang magiging labanan sa tagisan ng galing. Dahil ang top 30 ay sasalain na para mabuo ang top 15 semi-finalist.
Sino ba sila? Karaniwang tao, saan ka tatakbo? Sumate ang pag-ibig mo. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for.
Tutukan niya this weekend sa pinakamalawak na talent competition on Philippine TV and online. Ito ang Tagisan ng Galing.
Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. VegApproved Nutrichos, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutrichos. Magnolia Chicken Templados. Delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat. Pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda. Kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate NEPs and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco, R Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation. East West Bank, your dream, our focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
The successful development of TPLEX or Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario La Union with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Hey, Aggression Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Welcome back to ENI UK Europe Edition. I'm Jakarta Matera, and now we have interesting stories from the UK this week. The UK government is to unveil a fresh £30 billion package to save more jobs. This now we go to a live report from Love Ann Season. Please tell us more, Love Ann.
Thank you, Giancarlo. So, Finance Minister Rishi Sunak delivered a mini budget to Parliament that details measures which include bonuses to companies retaining staff and taking on apprentices, investment in green jobs, and allowing the whole country to enjoy discounted meals in restaurants. Sunak said that people need to know that although hardship lies ahead, no one will be left without hope. And noting that people are anxious about losing their jobs, about unemployment rising, Sunak told the country, and he said that we're not just going to accept this. So other measures included a temporary cut of tax on food, accommodation, and attractions from 20% to 5% from next Wednesday, 50% off to people eating out in August. The government will also pay firms £1,000 bonus for every staff member kept on for 3 months when the furlough scheme ends in October, and lifting the threshold at which stamp duty tax is due on home purchases to help the construction sector. Now, Britain has suffered Europe's deadliest outbreak of COVID-19, and a nationwide shutdown led the worst economic contraction among the G7 leading industrialized states. Sunak said that UK economy had contracted by 25% over the coronavirus lockdown, the same amount it grew in the previous 18 years. So the Chancellor also confirmed the £3 billion of green investment after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson vowed to build out of the economic crisis. The investment package includes a £2 billion in grants for households to insulate homes and make more energy efficient, and another £1 billion for public sector buildings, including hospitals. Now, the plan is also part of Britain's long-term pledge to reduce carbon emissions to net zero by 2050 to tackle climate change. Britain imposed a nationwide lockdown on March 23 to stop the spread of COVID-19, but has gradually begun easing restrictions in the hope of boosting suffering businesses. Now, recent official data showed that the UK's biggest quarterly contraction for more than 40 years, at minus 2.2% in the January to March period. However, the data included only the first full week of the lockdown, and economists expect subsequent damage to be considerably worse for the second quarter. Now, another contraction would place Britain in a technical recession. Since the crisis began, the Bank of England has pumped cash stimulus worth £300 billion into Britain's virus-hit economy and slashed its main interest rate to a record low of 0.1%. Moves aimed at propping up businesses and saving jobs. Experts estimate the total cost of state emergency measures, meanwhile, could run as high as £300 billion. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Lavan. So what do these measures mean for ordinary people now?
Yes, well, the announcement of the measures, we know this is an effort for the government to breathe life back into the shrinking economy that has been hit hard by many losing their jobs. Say if you had been furloughed and the company brings you back and continuously employ you through to January, paying you at least £520 on average per month, the government will pay your employer a £1,000 bonus. Now, this will help employees to stay in their jobs and also giving employers an incentive to do so, which will somehow give those who feel insecure about their jobs some comfort, as this is a way for employers to keep them hired. So another scenario is in the property market. We heard that in England and in Northern Ireland, stamp duty will not be paid on property worth over £500,000 or more until March. So that is a big change, because before you would pay stamp duty on a property worth at least £125,000. So this means savings of up to £15,000 for home buyers. And another great incentive as well is that if you eat out in eligible places between Monday to Wednesday during the whole month of August, you will get a 50% discount of your restaurant bill, up to a maximum of £10 per head. So this will hopefully bring customers into restaurants and cafes throughout the UK. Now, another one is the sales tax, or the VAT, which are included in the cost of food, accommodation, and attractions. It will be cut for the next 6 months from 20% down to 5%. So we should see prices fall when eating out or going out, which should also help those whose income was affected by the virus. So this will be a great incentive to the general public to support the hospitality industry, which has been hit the hardest from the lockdown. Over to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much, Lavan, for all that information about the measures in the UK, and thank you for your report.
Thank you, Giancarlo. This is Love and Season reporting from London, United Kingdom. We live in interesting times.
Now, staying in London and England, we have the National Health Service news, the NHS, as it celebrated its birthday. And now to tell us more, we have with us Ashley Espiritu. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, Giancarlo. Thank you. So yes, the NHS, established on the 5th of July 1948, hospitals, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, opticians and dentists came together for the first time under one roof to provide care for free. The NHS has always played a massive role within the nation, most especially now with this fast-growing pandemic. The NHS and their fast-working employees have been working so hard to fight COVID-19. Last Sunday, the country celebrated the birthday of their hero. The National Health Service turned 72 on the 5th of July and celebrated with another enormous applause across the UK. 2020 has definitely been one of the most challenging years in the history of the NHS, which has made this year's birthday one to remember. The day before their birthday, the NHS encouraged everyone to join their moment of remembrance, reflect on the current pandemic, and to pay our respects to our friends and loved ones we've lost. Everyone was encouraged to stop what they were doing and to join others on the street or their neighbourhood to applaud all who have helped. Key workers, volunteers, those who came out of retirement, even iconic London landmarks, including the London Eye, Royal Albert Hall, the Shard, the Wembley Arch, were illuminated in blue, the colour that represents the NHS, as a tribute to everyone and to those we lost. The NHS Chief Executive, Sir Simon Stevens, gave a short statement to the country where he said, "This year has been the most challenging in NHS history, with staff displaying extraordinary dedication, skill and compassion to care for the 100,000 patients with COVID-19 who needed specialist hospital treatment and many others besides. During this testing time, our nurses, doctors, pharmacists and countless more colleagues were sustained by the support of the public, not least through the weekly applause for key workers. No health service, not even the NHS, could have coped alone with this coronavirus pandemic. From bus drivers and teachers to care staff and food retailers, and of course the public who took action to stay at home to stop infection spreading, everyone played their part. The NHS's birthday this year not only offers the opportunity for us to say thank you to the nation, but for us all to come together at 5 p.m. to pause and recognise all the work which has taken place in the last months and say a heartfelt thank you. Just as the Chief Executive said in his statement, we will continue to say a massive thank you to all our key workers as they continue to sacrifice and labour for the safety of our country. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Ashley. May we ask, what was the atmosphere like during these big celebrations?
Well, the atmosphere was amazing. The whole country united in coming together to celebrate and reflect on the nation's heroes. It was truly inspiring. This is really a memorable moment for the future generations. We'll look back into it and think, wow, this is my country, and feel really proud to be part of it. It's been seen that there are people playing music, dancing, and others in Cambridge watching the Spitfire fly over London with the phrase, "Thank you, NHS," stamped underneath. Giancarlo?
Thank you, Ashley. That's great news. Did the Prime Minister of England, Boris Johnson, have anything to say about this event?
Yes, Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his wife also took part in the applause. They took the time to step out of Downing Street and give a warm applause for everyone. Even politicians such as Health Secretary Matt Hancock and Labour leader Keir Starmer were seen applauding also. Prime Minister Boris Johnson urged the public to join in with the clapping and emphasised it was of great importance for those who have worked tirelessly and selflessly to help the nation get through the pandemic. Giancarlo?
Thank you very much, Ashley, for your report.
Thank you, Giancarlo. I'm Ashley Spiritu, correspondent from London, United Kingdom. We live in interesting times.
Now it's time for a break again. Please come back for more ENI UK and Europe edition. Welcome back to ENI UK and Europe Edition. Now we go to mainland Europe for their latest reports. In France, we go first, where there are new transport rules for Marseille. This has been reported by Febeline Calpo. Let's play her report.
Well, going out or going to work. But while there is still a chance that you might get infected by the current COVID-19 virus, one must take the proper safety protocols.
After removing the lockdown in Marseille, people began to return to their normal routines. While there is still no vaccine, people will adjust to some changes when going out of their homes. The RTM, Régie de Transport Métropolitain, has implemented different safety precautions in public transportation, such as bus, metro, and the tramway. In metros, they gave each seat some signs to observe social distancing, 1 meter apart. They will also apply in other public places. Cooperating with these safety protocols will be a big help to others, even to the frontliners. First thing to do is to wear your own face mask when going out, and even sanitizing yourself. Everyone must help one another to stop the spread of the COVID-19.
Reporting from Marseille, France, I am Febeline Calpo.
We live in interesting times.
Now to EBC Switzerland, where they have a report on the online mental and health awareness seminar, which was held in France, Monaco, Switzerland, and Belgium. This was reported by Christine Benedicto. Let's watch her report.
The Iglesia ni Cristo Church of Christ sees to it to not only take care of its members' spiritual welfare, but also of its mental and physical well-being.
Through an online seminar, attendees from France, Monaco, Switzerland, and Belgium gained basic knowledge about different mental conditions.
A lot of emphasis is placed on healthy lifestyles, living healthy lifestyles to prevent chronic physical illness. I believe that the same emphasis should be placed on maintaining and protecting our mental or psychological health and well-being.
Carried out to married couples and parents, the seminar gave helpful tips.
It's in everyone's best interests to find out how to build our resilience, both physically and psychologically.
I've learned from the seminar that there are so many things which may lead to a mental illness, and also what impacts it may cause on a person's life.
I think the most important message from the seminar is to be aware of our thinking and to check whether it reflects the facts.
And for the physical welfare of the attendees during the current pandemic, a demonstration of proper washing of hands and a reminder on good basic hygiene habits also took place.
This. Then the nails, so like this, and the other hand also.
I think it's very important to stay physically and mentally healthy, which we use to serve and glorify our Almighty God.
There were also musical performances and a health quiz that even more strengthened the bond and knowledge of the attendees. Reporting for Eagle News International from Geneva, Switzerland, I'm Christine Benedicto. We live in interesting times.
Now we go to EBC Milan in Italy, where we report on the Italian pension reform happening due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We go live to our report now. We have April Paulino. April?
Hi, Giancarlo. Thank you. European policymakers are generating new market opportunities for Italian pension funds through credit card lines of the European Stability Mechanism, European Investment Bank loans, and the EU's Recovery Fund. Prometei Advisors team recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the European Investment Fund to reinforce the cooperation for equity investments through pan-European institutional funds of funds. As Italy emerged from the lockdown, with the reopening of most economic activities, the central bank, Bank d'Italia, forecast that the COVID-19 crisis will cause a 9.2% contraction in GDP this year. It foresees a gradual recovery over the next 2 years, with growth of 4.8% in 2021 and 2.5% in 2022. The mission of pension funds to generate returns for members at this age is compatible with a significant amount of investments in Italy, a market that is still small but is growing. Chairman of Itinerari Previdenziali, Alberto Brambilla, said, pension funds are a guarantee for workers in old age. Also thanks to complementary insurance policies, while PIRs do not guarantee either the economy or the individual saver, but tend to invest in the liquid segment of the stock exchange. This government should deal with the situation by starting to reduce tax on pension fund returns from 20% to the original 10 to 11%, and avoid levying tax on the funds annually as if they were speculative products. The TFR represents the larger share of the inflows to open pension funds, pre-existing funds, and fondi negoziali. For businesses, TFR is an alternative bank financing, allowing SMEs to spend resources that belong to the worker, but are available to the company until the worker leaves the job. TFR should not be taken away from companies and put into pension funds that invest 3 to 4% of their assets in Italy and the rest abroad, he says. The government tried to encourage investment into the real economy by creating Piani Individuali del Risparmio, or PIR, individual saving plans that enjoy tax relief when investing in Italian businesses. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you. And how about the pension fund for this year? Should they expect it to arrive, and who are those who will benefit?
Money from the 14th month will arrive this July, a sort of double pension. It will be received by those with at least 64 years of age with a maximum income of up to 1.5 times the minimum treatment, which translated means not to exceed the income threshold of 786 euros. The additional allowance, according to Legislative Decree 81-2007, are senior citizens, early retirement, disability pensions, and survivors' pensions. The pensions, however, without 14th are those of civil invalidity, social allowance, war, and INAIL annuity. INS has already communicated that 3,150,000 will receive 14-month pay. In addition, there is no need to submit any application. Payment will be made automatically by INPS. Those who will turn 64 this year will receive the 14-month pay in the month of December.
Thank you for your report, and thank you for joining us today, April.
Thank you, Giancarlo. I am April Paulino, reporting live from Milan, Italy, and we live in interesting times.
Now for our last news story, we go to our sports update, where Lewis Hamilton leads the majority of drivers in taking a knee at the Austrian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton led a majority of 20 Formula One drivers in taking a knee in a gesture of anti-racism solidarity on the grid before the start of the belated season opening Austrian Grand Prix last Sunday. Hamilton insisted his fight against racism is about equality and not politics or promotion, after 6 drivers refused to join the Formula One World Champion in taking a knee before the Grand Prix. But it was not followed by all drivers, who some stating that their support for the campaign, that they do support the campaign, but they will not be taking the knee during the playing of the national anthems. And now, before we leave you today, lastly we go to our view from a window. And today's view comes from Barcelona, Spain, with a special thank you to EBC's Lynn Tumbaga Diaz, with her different sites from Barcelona. The first site is the Drassanes Avenue, and then we have the second site of the Arenas de Barcelona in Plaza España. Thank you, Lynn, for that wonderful view and for that short glimpse in life in Barcelona, Spain. We hope you stay safe and keep positive. We will continue to bring you more stories next week from the United Kingdom and Europe. I'm Jakarta Matera for EBC UK and Europe Edition, and we live in interesting times.